Water shortages are a big concern these days, right? You always hear about it. Makes you wonder, what are we going to do? It's easy to picture some futuristic solution,
Yeah, definitely.
But what if that solution, what if it backfired? That's what we're diving into today with The Breath of Life, a world saved by air.
Okay, I like it.
So this excerpt, it throws us into a future Earth, right, where drought is just everyday life. And these giant atmospheric water harvesters, that's their lifeline.
Interesting. It plays on those anxieties we have, about resources running out, depending on technology to save us.
It really does. In the excerpt, it doesn't hold back, paints this vivid picture of a bone-dry world. Dust everywhere, desperation. You can just feel it.
I can imagine. Setting the stage.
Exactly. Then these harvesters show up, pulling moisture from the air, offering relief. And the excerpt, it describes the awe people feel. That pure relief of having water again.
Yeah. It's a powerful emotion, isn't it? That initial wonder, the way they describe the taste of the water, the hope it brings back. We all crave solutions when facing a crisis.
You can just feel that wave of relief with them.
Yeah.
But here's where things get interesting. Subtly at first, the air starts to feel different, heavier somehow.
Instead of saying, oh, the air's bad now, focusing on that feeling is such a smart move by the author, don't you think? It's primal, that unease. You might not always notice small changes in the air, not consciously, but your body, it reacts.
It makes that feeling of something being off so much creepier.
For sure. And it cleverly reflects how we take air for granted. Until it's threatened, which in this story, it's tied to the very thing that's supposed to be saving them. It's a reminder that even the best intentions can have consequences we don't expect.
And that's the turning point in this first act, right? That shift from, thank goodness for these harvesters, to, wait a minute, something's not right.
It's where the social commentary comes in. The author is using this fictional situation to hold up a mirror to us, our relationship with technology, the potential for things to go wrong. It's like that saying, too much of a good thing. It happens in the real world all the time.
All the time. Like desalination plants, right? Awesome idea creating fresh water. But if it's not done right, it can harm marine life. Ecosystems get messed up. We're so busy solving the immediate problem that we forget to think about the long game.
Exactly. This excerpt makes you ask yourself, how far would I go to survive? Would I sacrifice something as basic as the air I breathe just to have this resource?
It's a chilling question. So we're left with this uneasy feeling, right? Like something's off with these harvesters. Just a suspicion, but still.
And it doesn't take long for that suspicion to turn into a full-blown crisis, does it?
Yeah.
Act 2 kicks off and things get real.
They do. The excerpt doesn't sugarcoat it. People start getting sick. Headaches, dizziness, trouble breathing.
Right, and it's not just a few people here and there. It's like it's spreading everywhere.
Classic case of a community in denial, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. They're clinging to this idea that the harvesters are the answer, not the problem.
Exactly. Explaining away the illnesses, ignoring the signs.
Yeah.
Anything to avoid facing the terrifying truth that the very thing saving them might be killing them.
It's so human, though, isn't it? To cling to what we know, what feels safe, even when it's not serving us anymore. In this case, the harvesters equal survival, so the thought of them being dangerous is just unthinkable.
Yeah, and the protagonist who's been putting the pieces together, they're stuck in the middle of all this, trying to convince everyone that something's wrong.
Which is so hard, right? Getting people to face an uncomfortable truth, especially when it threatens their sense of security.
And that's what makes the protagonist's struggle so relatable. It reflects what happens in the real world all the time. Scientific evidence going up against deeply held beliefs. You see it with climate change, vaccinations. People would rather stick their heads in the sand than accept a truth that requires them to change.
Absolutely. And as the tension builds, the story takes us to this incredibly eerie climax. The protagonist, grappling with what they've discovered, they have this encounter with their reflection in the harvester's mist.
Oh yeah, that scene.
It's both literally and figuratively chilling. Imagine standing there, looking at this machine that's keeping your world alive, but all you see is this warped, almost alien version of yourself staring back.
Like the technology itself is twisting, distorting.
Exactly.
Gives me chills just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's not just a cool visual though, is it? That distorted reflection. It's like symbolic, you know?
Definitely. Like looking in a broken mirror.
Yeah.
There's that line. Always gets me. We are the harvesters now. You don't need to breathe.
Yeah. It's not even just about the air being gone, is it? It's like something more is being taken.
Yeah.
That's the thirst for air thing, right? That deeper meaning.
Exactly.
Our connection to nature, our own bodies, the feeling of breathing, being alive, it's all being drained away.
And the ending, the way the protagonist almost merges with the machine. Like the line between human and machine is gone. It's both fascinating and terrifying at the same time.
Right. The author doesn't make it easy for us. No simple answers. It makes you think, are we, by trying to survive, to progress, are we becoming something else entirely? Something that doesn't need what humans have always needed? That's a question that hangs even harder now, with how much we rely on technology.
It's like a warning, this excerpt. Even in a fictional world, it's a reminder for us. Our choices have consequences. Even with the best intentions, we have to think about the long game, especially with technology, how it shapes our future. What are we willing to give up? And what happens if we lose something we can never get back? This deep dive leaves us with those questions. And honestly, they're questions worth thinking about as we navigate this crazy world.